morning and welcome to Sew Amelia. This is my channel where I talk all about making a handmade wardrobe for me and for my children. But today it is about a day in my sewing life and what I'm getting up to at home today. Now I do have quite a few jobs to get done, so I'm going to be doing bits and pieces of sewing around family life. You will have seen I've just got back from the school run. I have my coffee to drink now and I'm going to talk to you about my plans for today. So thank you to all of you who commented on last week's video. I shared a fabric and pattern haul, lots of lovely new fabrics and patterns that I've been buying over the Christmas period, and one of the fabrics I had was this one, and it is this lovely cozy green fabric. Now I am actually wearing the same top today as I was wearing in last week's video, and that's just because I haven't taken it off since. I mean, I have, but I just love wearing it on the school run. It is so easy to put on, toasty warm, great over leggings. I am going to get changed in a little bit and get ready for the day, but that's what I'm wearing just now. It's the Jarrah sweater in a beautiful pink French terry from First for Fabrics with a lovely little badge patch thing from New Craft House. But I did talk about it more in last week's video, so do head over to that video if you're interested in finding out more about this particular sweatshirt. But anyway, today's fabric is going to be this beautiful green viscose sweater knit fabric. Now I'm not into viscose knit, as you know, but because this is like a sweater knit fabric, it has very much a weave that looks like knitted fabric, and the viscose I think just makes it that much lighter to work with. I think it will look really, really good as a sweater dress. Now, I did have two patterns in mind that I shared last week, so again, go and check out that video if you want to hear about the other pattern I had in mind for this fabric. But I do think I will get a lot of wear out of the pattern that I have chosen outside the house and inside the house, because I do wear the Zoe dress by True Bias an awful lot in the summer. I love the shape of it. It has a beautiful curved back actually, and I do think I have a little bit of a sway back. So the curve in the back just works beautifully for my particular body shape. I love the way the dress comes in at the waist, and it's got a really lovely long A-line skirt. So I have been thinking for a long time I would like to make a winter version of the Zoe. And then True Bias popped up a blog over on their website, which I will link below, with all of the details that I'm going to be following in my vlog today about how to turn the Zoe dress into a winter Zoe by adding their Nico top pattern to the top of it. Now, I don't have the Nico top, but I do have the Stretch book by Tilly and the Buttons, and in this book is her Freya top pattern. Now, the thing about the Nico pattern that I do like is that it's much more size inclusive. The Freya top, unfortunately, doesn't have the most inclusive size range. However, it is a pattern I already have, and it does look very similar to the Nico. So I'm going to use what I already have. I'm going to use the Freya top pattern and follow the blog on the True Bias website to make the Zoe dress. So I do hope you'll stay tuned to today's video and come and watch as I follow along with the blog and put my own version of the Freya Zoe, Froey, dress together. I do think it's going to get an awful lot of wear over these cold wintry months. It's just such a snuggly cozy fabric, and I think throwing on a sweater dress is just the easiest thing in the world. I do have the Billy dress by Tilly and the Buttons, and I've looked at the South Bank sweater dress before, but I don't feel awfully confident in those dresses. They are amazing for a wintry cold day at home when I just want to cozy up and wear secret pajamas, I suppose. But I don't really love the way that they come in just below my bottom. It's the widest part of me, and I'm not sure it's my best look. Whereas because the Zoe dress does go out in the beautiful A-line shape, and because it's a longer dress length, I do feel more confident and happy in this dress. So that's what it's all about for me, wearing clothes that make me feel confident and happy in what I'm wearing. So for all those reasons that you probably didn't want to know about, I'm going to be making the Froey dress in this fabric. So let's get on with putting the pattern pieces together, and then hopefully after I've done a few more jobs, there'll be some time to sew this dress up. It's such a quick and easy sew once you have these pattern pieces cut out. I may not get it finished today, but we'll see how we get on. So I'm going to start with my Tilly and the Buttons Freya pattern and my True Bias Zoe dress pieces. So I've got the front and the back pieces. I'm not worrying about the neckband or the strap pieces. Now you'll see on this pattern that I cut out a size 8 at the bust, and then I graded right out actually to a 14, I think, at the hip, which was actually too big. This is my Freya dress pattern piece, and when I hold it up against the Zoe dress, you can see how much the Zoe comes out beyond where the Freya dress did. So I'm actually going to cut along the line for the size 10. So I'm just going to grade from the size 8 here at the bust to size 10 here. So I'm going to start by doing that on my front and back pattern pieces before I do anything else. Just because I do know, having made this before, that it was slightly on the big side, and as much as I love it, I would like to take it down to my current measurements, which are a 35-inch bust, a 30-inch waist, and a 40-inch hip. Right, so I'm going to trace around my Freya dress pattern, because in the Zoe dress, this is cut and then sewn together to allow for a little bit of a sway back. You'll see there's a curved back in the Zoe dress pattern, so when I put them together, I want to make sure that I allow for that. So I'm going to trace around the top of my Freya dress pattern and just cut it off here at the waistline. And then I'm going to add my 3/8 inch seam allowance on this side so that I can sew it up in 2 pieces rather than on the fold. Now I'm going to do the same with the front of my Freya dress, and then I will cut those out and attach them to the bottom half of the Zoe dress. So I'm just going to even out this curve here just so the 2 pieces blend. And then I'll just snip that off, and then that's the front piece done. That is the easier of the 2 pieces to blend together. Now for the back piece, I'm going to line up this side seam, just almost on the lengthen and shorten line. I'm just going to go slightly below that, line up this side seam here, just so that these armholes match up, so that the neckline and the shoulder seam should sort of be in about the same place. Stick that down, and then I'm going to sort out the sway back on that side. And yes, I am taping this onto my original pattern piece. When I come to want to sew this one again, I can simply snip through the tape and take this bit off again. I'm only going to be cutting the traced piece here, not the original Zoe pattern, so it's all good. I am going to just follow the line here. I'm going to go and get my French curve, follow that curve up to this back piece here. And that's that piece altered. So now I have the back piece, the front piece, and then from the Freya dress pattern I have got the mock turtleneck piece, and I also have my long sleeve piece. So I'm just going to use those directly from the Freya pattern. I did cut a size 4 in the Freya pattern originally, which is my size, so hopefully this will all work together nicely. I have added that extra seam allowance in the front of the Freya top, although I did have to take some of it out here in the back just to make that beautiful sway back adjustment for the Zoe dress. I think it will work well, so let's get cutting out the fabric. Right, so I'm up in the sewing room. I have cut out all of the pieces, that's the neckband, but there is a nice pile on my lap of pattern pieces, and I'm going to sew those together. So it's quite a basic sewing process. You sew the 2 fronts together at that middle seam, the 2 backs together again and that seam in the middle. Then I'm going to put in the neckband for the Freya top, the Freya sleeves, and then sew up the side seams. And then at that point I'll be able to do the hem and the cuffs. So it should be quite a quick process. I have about an hour until school pickup. I've done all the jobs, which is really exciting. So we're going to see if I can get this Zoe dress sewn up in the next hour. And I just hope all of the hacking I did to put the 2 patterns together works. I feel like I did have to change the sizes a little bit around the waist, so I'm hoping that that's not too tight, although this fabric is lovely and stretchy. It's got a good stretch and release to it, so here's hoping. But come along on the adventure. Let's sew this together and see if I can have a new froey dress at the end of the next hour of sewing. Alright, so I should just say I have set up my machine with some stretchy Mariflex thread, just because this is a sweater knit. So I am going to do the sides on the overlocker, but I will probably baste them together on my machine first with the stretchy thread, just to make sure all of the seams stay put. And I have done some samples on my overlocker just to make sure I've got the settings right, so that the fabric doesn't stretch out and the overlocking stitches weren't too tight on the sweater knit. Everything's set up and ready to go, so let's get sewing. Now because of the weight of the sweater knit, I am going to reinforce the shoulder seams with just a piece of ribbon across the top when I sew and overlock those, just to help stabilize the shoulders and stop the dress from stretching out, or at least that's the hope. Of course the bobbin should run out just when you're getting to the good part. I'm about to put on the neckband, but I need to fill up my bobbin first. I should just say actually what I'm wearing now that I've showered and got changed after this morning's bike rides and things is the Forget Me Not Natalie skirt. So I'll just stand up and show you that. I'm wearing it actually with a t-shirt underneath, one I made from the Friday Pattern Company Adrienne blouse, but I chopped off the sleeves here because they were just too long and floofy for me. They got in the way of everything. So I'm just wearing it with a t-shirt underneath and then a ready to wear jumper over the top, but very comfy, just pottering around the house outfit. But for now I'm going to wind my bobbin and then get back to the neckband. It's 2 o'clock now, so it's all coming together, and I've got half an hour before I have to leave, so hoping to get it sewn up still in time. Here we go. So, not a finished garment by any stretch, and I have not got the sleeves on in the time I had. I do like the Freya neckband. It is a nice turtleneck neckband, but it does not feel too tight and constricting. The shoulder's in the right place, I think, because obviously there's a 5/8 inch seam allowance before I put on the sleeves, and I've just pulled this around myself to check the fit, and I think it's going to fit really nicely. I was a bit worried that it was going to be a bit small up the top, but I think it's going to be fine. I love the length. It's a really nice long dress. You can't see, but it's falling around by my ankles. And I know I took some in around the hips, but I think that's going to be okay as well. It will be more form-fitting, I think, than my summer version, but I do feel like that's too big. I think their sizing, True Buyer sizing, is US sizing, so I've made a size 14 around the hip thinking it was a UK 14, but I actually think it's a US 14, which is a UK 18, which might explain why it's a little too big. But this one fits really nicely, so I'm hoping that I might get back up here tonight. We'll just have to see. It's going to be a busy afternoon and evening for us. My son is performing in a concert, so you will have seen earlier I was making some little lunch boxes. That's for their picnic tea, which we'll eat in the car on the way to the concert. But looking forward to hearing him play in that tonight, and then if there is some time I might sneak up here and put in these sleeves and sew up the sides, but we'll just have to see. This one might be finished tomorrow. I'm looking forward to getting this finished and wearing it now. Hello, it is the next day, but I have finished the dress. Now I did finish it last night, but I didn't get much footage at all because it was so dark by the time I got it up to my sewing room, but I couldn't resist coming up and finishing it off. It didn't take very long at all. I just had to do the side seams after putting on the sleeves, and then do the hems on the sleeve and the hem on the bottom of the dress. So I'm so excited to have it finished. It feels like I'm wearing a blanket. It is so cozy and warm, and I absolutely love it. And what I thought I would just briefly do at the end of this video is just chat about how I found the pattern and why I think it's my perfect winter dress. So those of you who watched my recent makes video will know that I was working on this dress over the Christmas period. In fact, I wore it as my Christmas Day dress because I did want to give it a try, even though after I made it, I really wasn't sure this was perfect jersey dress. In fact, it's very definitely one I'm going to refashion. For those of you who haven't seen information about this dress, do head over to my recent makes video, which I'll link up here, and there's a lot more detail about that dress in that video. But for those of you who didn't see that video, it is this pattern here, the Simplicity S9644, which I made in a double brushed poly that I bought from Joann's. Now usually I avoid anything with any poly in it at all. I have very sensitive skin, and I just find wearing anything with poly in it quite uncomfortable, and I overheat, and it's just not nice. But I'd heard so many good things about this fabric and how actually it's more breathable than people think, so I wanted to give it a go. Do I like this dress? No. Now the fabric is very soft and lovely to wear. It's really soft against the skin, but it does feel quite clingy. But I don't want to waste the fabric because it is beautifully soft, and I absolutely love the colour. So what I'm going to do is, there's plenty of fabric in here. I'm actually going to turn it into the Elysian bodysuit by Friday Pattern Company. I have a couple of those in my wardrobe already, and I should be able to get the bodysuit front from here, and I have got some leftover fabric as well to make up any differences that I might have. I really love that bodysuit pattern, and it's actually lined in the bodice area, so I think that will be perfect use for the double brush poly, and I might even size up one size just to give me a little bit more room in the clingy fabric. I also didn't love the cutout. I didn't. I thought I would try it because it's everywhere at the moment on the high street, but I don't love it on me, so that was a no to this pattern. But in terms of the shape of it, it's quite similar to this. It is a fitted jersey dress, and the back of it has this seam right down the middle of the back to kind of give it that shaping, which is what this dress has as well. So there are quite a few similarities. So in the end, I do think part of my love for this particular dress I've made is down to the fabric that I chose. This is a thicker, heavier sweater knit, and I just think I prefer this both to wear, and I prefer the look of it as well. And I don't have to wear any secret Spanx or anything else underneath it. I've got my normal undergarments as well as a slip, which I often wear under these kinds of dresses anyway, because otherwise they cling to your tights in the winter. So that's a definite plus for this, because this one I did have to wear secret things underneath to make sure that my underwear did not show through the rather clingy fabric. So enough said on that front, but onto this dress. I love it. I love the shape of the Zoe dress anyway. I think I said at the beginning of the video, I wear my summer Zoe dress all the time. And I also do love the Freya top by Tilly and the Buttons. So I did think when I saw the hack on the True Bias website that I would absolutely love this dress, and I do. I love the way it comes in at the waist, it flows over the hips, really beautiful. And I love the way that the back is cut in these two pieces, and it just fits the curve of my back really, really beautifully. So I do love it. Colour-wise, I do like the colour. I think I prefer this colour here for this jersey dress that I made over this green colour, but I do like this colour a lot. Let me just get rid of Mabel for a moment, and then you can see this a little bit more clearly. So putting it together was actually really, really easy. The hardest part was fitting the two back pieces together because of the curve of the Zoe pattern, but I read the blog. The blog was so clear and really easy to follow, so do give it a go if you want to make your own Zoe and Freya dress hack, or if you've got the Nico pattern, that's what this original hack was for those two True Bias patterns to be put together. I think I'm going to be wearing this for the rest of the winter every week, at least once or twice. The only thing is it's such a long skirt, I can't really cycle in it very easily, but that's okay. I've got quite a few afternoons during the week when I need to come pick up the children in the car because of our after school activities, so I'll be wearing this on those days because it is just so cozy, snuggly and easy to put on. I am styling it today with my Jazz and Wow earrings that the lovely Bex made. She's What Bex Sews. She's here on YouTube as well as on Instagram, so do go and give her a follow if you don't already. She makes such gorgeous things, including buttons and earrings, which I love. And I've also styled it with some knee-high brown boots, which add an extra level of coziness in the winter, but also I really love the way they look with this long sweater dress. So yes, definitely my perfect dress. I can't wait to make this again. I ordered a whole bunch of black bamboo jersey because I love bamboo jersey, and I had run out in my stash. I quite often use it for quick t-shirts for the children. So yes, I have enough to cut out another dress, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to do with this fabric. It is a thinner bamboo jersey, but I think it will work really well, especially as a trans-seasonal dress. I can see myself wearing this into the summer months. I might even make it with, say, a 3/4 length sleeve or a short sleeve. I don't know, but I have got this one for either another short sleeve Zoe or a long sleeve Zoe, depending on how quickly I get it made up, because I love this mashup here and I can't wait to keep wearing it all through the winter. So thank you for watching. I'm so glad I found my perfect winter dress. I hope you enjoyed seeing this come together. Do join me next week for another video in which I hope to share some of the things I have been making in January with you. And until then, I hope you have a happy week ahead full of lots of lovely sewing, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Goodbye.